This is the New American Media.
All right, everybody, welcome back. This is Brian Engelman. You're listening to Agree to Disagree. If you're listening live, hey, nothing. That took seconds. If you're listening after the fact, we put a lot of different shows online. Check them out. YouTube.com/The New American Media. Check out our homepage, thenewamericanmedia.com. Go on Facebook, search The New American Media. And on Twitter, we're at American_media_. We're back with Blake, the eccentric Walley. Check out his podcast on iTunes, Eccentric Perspective, and you can hear him live every Monday, Wednesday, Thursday from noon to 1:30 p.m. Pacific on Freedomizer Radio. So, Blake, let's just dig into all of this stuff. We already talked about this possible race war, this Christopher Lane shooting down in Oklahoma, just a horrible situation, and all the other crimes, and how they're sending out racist tweets and. Check out those archive shows. We'll split those up in post-production here. But let's dig into Greenwald, Snowden, NSA hard drives, the partner being detained. There's a lot of info, and it's all kind of related. So just pick it up where you feel like.
Well, let's see. The first one I am looking at here, actually, there's quite a few. I don't even know where to start. But we got, how about the UK government pulverized Guardian hard drives in the Snowden retaliation. Of course, we did have David Brennan, the partner of Greenwald, that was shaken down at the, I'm assuming that's the Heathrow Airport over in Britain, and they held him for the maximum 9 hours under some sort of their version of terror law. It was really just to make a chilling effect on reporters and to try to scare them, and they confiscated all of his stuff. And then you also have the UK government going to the Guardian headquarters, because the Guardian, which Glenn Greenwald works for, is based in Britain. And they had some thugs from the government, the men in black suits, came over and had them smash their computers up. So I guess to try to get rid of any evidence or any more stories from Edward Snowden from leaking out. But that was pretty much foolish, and that was also just to try to scare everybody. So I don't. You want to make a comment, Brian? I'm trying to hurry up here.
Well, I listened. I listened to. I listened to a really good interview on NPR, and they were getting into this, and apparently what they've done is the information had to be sent to, what was it? They sent it to Florida. They sent it to New York. Because in England, you don't have the same First Amendment protections that you have in the United States. So they can now publish the stories as they're coming in from the States, but they couldn't have a copy of them in the States. So, by the way, in case you're ever in the middle of something like Michael Hastings and you feel like you're in danger, get copies out, speak out, don't clam up, don't bunker down, disseminate your information, because, hey, you better let it rip. Because if your information disappears, I mean, that's the First Amendment. That's just digging for truth. What they're doing, this isn't a smear campaign. This isn't a propaganda campaign of lies. This is digging for truth, and that's supposed to be celebrated in this world. That's supposed to be celebrated in America, especially with our First Amendment and our Second Amendment to protect it, and our Fourth Amendment so that people don't get into our lives and start attacking us for our political beliefs like they're doing at the IRS. This stuff is all connected, Blake. But yeah, apparently they had to smash all of the hard drives, but that's fine. They have the information everywhere else, and they'll just publish them from somewhere else. They'll have the Guardian New York edition, send it all out. So be it. We have protections here.
Yeah, I'm looking at a couple of the Glenn Greenwald tweets that I retweeted. One of them is, the NSA can and should have all of your communications. It's a crime if you have any of theirs.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, let's see here. I don't know what else. I thought I had a couple more. I've got one more. It's actually related to Chelsea. How about this one? Obama administration. We aggressively prosecute those who diligently protect those who commit them.
Hold on. Lost you there again. We aggressively what?
We aggressively prosecute those who expose war crimes and diligently protect those who commit them.
Yeah, but my problem with the Bradley Manning / Chelsea Manning, who now he wants a sex change. I mean, come on now. Right. What a damn soap opera. Really, we gotta waste our time on this. Great. Now we're gonna see Chaz Bono on TV, on Piers Morgan, talking about Chelsea Manning, instead of what this subject is about. Now, my problem with Bradley Manning, and it always has been, had he just released information that was covering up a crime where and there's a a case going on right now where that guy went nuts and shot up all those Afghani villagers, all the children and the women. He's going on trial right now. But if that's part of what Bradley Manning released, the problem is he released, thousands and thousands and thousands of other pages of other things, and I'm not really privy to know exactly what was in all of them. Apparently it's kind of boring, mundane information. So I don't know. I mean, my problem...
Yeah, he linked him to the press. Yeah, it's a tough call. So, when your government is involved in all kinds of illegal activities, it's supposed to be, a duty to report on it. But there's this culture's kind of developed where that's kind of you're being a snitch or something, or you're going to get prosecuted, and people are scared to go public and stuff like that.
Well, talk about scared to go public. I mean, talk about Michael Hastings. What's the latest there?
The coroner's report.
Hang on, Blake. However you're holding the phone, it's fading in and out.
Sorry about that. Yes, I was just about to pull up my cell phone because I saw a very interesting comment here by Paul Joseph Watson. I was just covering one of his articles. He just pulled. Let me pull this up real quick, and let me get back.
Yeah, and of course, Michael Hastings was the Rolling Stone journalist who. Well, how do we update this? How do we say he was a contributor for Rolling Stone and a reporter for BuzzFeed, and he brought down General McChrystal, and apparently as it was leading up to his death, he died in a one-car accident in my backyard over here in Los Angeles. One-car accident, the engine blew 60 feet out of the brand new, what was it, a Mercedes, right?
Yep.
Something you don't see this happen. People reported explosions before.
Just resting on the side of the road. It was like over 100 feet away from the crash.
You ever see the horse's head scene from The Godfather? You pull back the sheet and there's the horse's head. In a way, this reminds me a little bit of the horse's head. It's like, hey, journalists. Hey, Greenwald. Hey, Snowden. Hey, Manning. Hey, Hastings. Yeah, we could put you in jail or wake up with the horse's head, see? Sleeping with the fishes, see? I mean, it's just very suspicious. I can't say with certainty that I believe this was a hit, that this was an assassination, but I'll tell you what. Apparently, days before... Well, Blake, why don't you say it? Because you've been covering this even more than I have. I want to hear your words. I hear myself all the time.
Okay, here, let me read this quick post here by Paul Joseph Watson here. Hold on. All right, it says, Hastings family member slams coroner, quote, the LAPD were hoping for a mother load of drugs in his system. And retaliation, because that's when the coroner's report has come out this week, finally, which is kind of odd because they did supposedly cremate his body. Now, they've somehow got toxicology, and they found a little bit of, they found meth, and they found medical marijuana, which we did have a prescription for. I did have a medical card there in California. But they've also had to admit that it wasn't enough to actually, be the cause of the accident. So, but it's just, they're trying to smear his character, and, it's gotten really disgusting. And it's so obvious that this is an assassination, and there's a big cover-up. They put a gag order on the police. They weren't allowed to talk about this case. The whole thing doesn't make any sense. How does the engine pop out of a car? They're trying to say like he hit a tree or something, but that's absolutely impossible. Otherwise, then how did the engine pop out if he hit a tree? Nothing's consistent with what their official story is. Clear, and he's also come out and said that he feared that his car was tampered with. He wanted to borrow one of his friend's car. That's another thing that was developed this week. The very day before a suspicious car crash claimed his life. There's another article by Paul Joseph Watson here. Michael Hastings feared his Mercedes had been tampered with. That's because the feds had visited him recently, and asked to borrow a friend's vehicle, telling her that he was scared and wanted to leave town. And that this girl that his friend says that Hastings was fearful for his safety after being complained of being under scrutiny by the FBI. Of course, the FBI denied that they were ever looking into him, and then later they were forced to admit that yes, they were in fact looking at him. That he was going after supposedly David Brennan of the CIA. And yeah, he had some big information, the biggest story of his career. This is the guy, like you said, brought down General Stanley McChrystal already. So he was a well-known guy, a fearless reporter, and somebody who was on the Young Turks, saying that there was a war on the press in light of all the the AP reporting and all that stuff with the administration, and that journalists need to start releasing all the information. We need to fight back, and then boom, he's on the run, working on the biggest story ever. Emails all of his friends and family that they're coming after me. I got to go into hiding, and all of a sudden his car mysteriously explodes. What a big coincidence.
Yeah, I have the same story pulled up here off the Blaze, and he said that one of the neighbors who asked to borrow the car, she wouldn't loan it to him because it needed repairs. And according to this person, Thigpen, that Hastings' behavior is growing increasingly erratic, and that he thought helicopters circling around their building were there to keep a watchful eye on him. I mean, does anyone else read the news? Do you see the size of these little mosquito-sized drones, and that Rand Paul has to do a filibuster because this president thinks that U.S. citizens can be killed by drone on U.S. soil, and that you want to call them FEMA camps, you want to call them whatever you might want to think that they're there for. You want to see Agenda 21 being rolled out. You want to look at all of these stuff, all of these things, all the revelations that the IRS, a forceful arm of power of the federal government, is attacking those with different political beliefs. And you see a power and control system that is more than willing to squash anyone that threatens their livelihood, that threatens their lifeblood, their dirty cash, their plush lifestyle. And it's hitting the fan, and every journalist everywhere needs to realize that truth tellers are under attack right now. Whether or not Michael Hastings was indeed murdered by the CIA, whether Bradley Manning had a right as a whistleblower to release the information, whether or not Edward Snowden had a right to release this information that was I mean, thank God that he did, because now everybody's aware that the Fourth Amendment is just being completely trampled on, Blake. I mean, do you see this as a good thing that we're having this conversation finally?
Absolutely. Without Snowden, without Bradley Manning, we wouldn't be having these conversations, and you can't believe anything from the NSA or the president or James Clapper or Alexander. I mean, they use the national security as an excuse for to not talk about anything. And now we've got it's the latest. We got Obama saying that the NSA they inadvertently and accidentally pulled the emails of Americans. See, it was all an accident. We documents reveal that the government paid millions to the PRISM participants. That's another story hot off the wire today. All of these 9 U.S. tech companies that denied their involvement with the participation in the NSA's data mining program known as PRISM. They were actually paid money. You've got former Congressman Dennis Kucinich is now saying, everybody's lying to Congress. We need to abolish the NSA and celebrate Snowden. And, yeah.
Well, hey, let me tell you, James Clapper, let's not forget. National Intelligence, Director of National Intelligence, James Clapper, in a Senate hearing in March. Just check this out. These are the people you're supposed to believe. You need to believe that Andrew Breitbart died of natural causes and his coroner disappeared during his death because of arsenic, and that's all natural. You're supposed to believe it because that's the official story. You're supposed to believe, like our president said on Jay Leno, that there is no domestic spy program. You're supposed to believe that the NSA is not doing what it's doing. You're supposed to believe that all of these wars, we're playing Team America World Police all over the place, that this is all just. You got to believe the officials. So, by the way,
they're phony scandals, Brian.
Thank you. Thank you. They're phony scandals. Benghazi didn't happen.
They're not spying on us, and the scandals are all phony.
Yep, the IRS is not targeting political opponents. And don't worry, Obamacare will not prioritize those depending on if you have been deemed through social media to support the president's policies or oppose the president's policies through some little algorithm that's been designed by Zuckerberg, who he's pals with. And hey, we know who people are. If you need a liver transplant, a kidney transplant, if you need a lung transplant, if you need a transfusion, if you need this, if you need that, don't worry. First in line, as long as you support our policies. And don't worry, we've been watching you for a decade under the Patriot Act. Act. And if you need some health care, all you got to do is just believe in us or die. You want to talk about death panels? You want to make fun of Sarah Palin for calling out the obvious? Yeah, the death panels are there because the IRS was not targeting the Democratic groups. They were targeting the president's opposition, and that's why you need to defund. And I'm calling it, you need to defund Obamacare right now because it's garbage. You do not want that kind of power in the hands of the government. Really quick, though, I just wanted to play this. James Clapper. This is who you're supposed to trust. This is one of our elected officials. This is why you need to believe the administration.
So what I wanted to see is...
This is Senator Ron Wyden asking a question of James Clapper, who's the Director of National Intelligence, in March, prior to Edward Snowden, the hero, announcing publicly that the Fourth Amendment is just being urinated upon.
If you could give me a yes or no answer to the question, does the NSA collect any type of data at all on millions or hundreds of millions of Americans?
No, sir.
It does not.
Not wittingly. There are cases where they could inadvertently, perhaps, collect, but not wittingly.
Yeah, I mean, if he was a poker player, you would call his bluff in a heartbeat. In a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Kind of shaking hand, touching his forehead, looking up, kind of, oh boy, I don't have to ask this, do you?
No, yeah, this is hilarious. And just one more article. I'm not even going to get into it, but it's the top one if you want to follow me on Twitter, eccentric99. This is out of The Guardian. I tweeted this out to Brian, too. This is from The Guardian as well, but not Glenn Greenwald. And he says, as a Democrat, I am disgusted with President Obama. He says, I voted for Obama reluctantly, but never did I imagine he would become another Richard Nixon. And, yeah, I think that's the absolute best comparison. This is the most disgusting, corrupt administration since Nixon. This is just like Nixon and J. Edgar Hoover. So we just got different versions of J. Edgar Hoover, and we've got a president that you can't trust for anything. He is a liar, and he's got yes, there's a ton of you can call him phony scandals all he wants, but we'll see if he can try to run out the clock on that.
Well, you know what? Maybe James Clapper just got caught in a weird question. Here's how he answers what he said.
So I responded in what I thought was the most truthful or least untruthful manner by saying no.
The least untruthful manner. Give me a freaking break. Give me a break.
Yep. And we still haven't seen all the stuff come out yet, so we can only imagine what's coming up. That's why it's so much fun to cover the news these days. And I keep trying to say there's nothing else going on, but then every week goes by and there's more revelations, more NSA leaks, more Edward Snowden, Glenn Greenwald, and hopefully we'll see more whistleblowers.
Hastings, Cheryl Atkinson, Michael Hastings, Cheryl Atkinson, James Rosen. Go down the line. Truth tellers are under attack in this country, and that needs to change because it's not benefiting us. All the lies are not benefiting you and me, Blake, you and I, and the listeners. We're not being helped by this. We're being hurt. And our civil liberties are being taken away. But hey, here's another distraction. Here's a shiny toy. Hey, that something's racist. Hey, something is this over here. Hey, how about some free things? Hey, just ring up more on our credit card tab, 17 trillion and counting. Yeah, we'll take over 1/6 of the economy with Obamacare, and maybe we'll attack our political enemies like the IRS already did. Oh, by the way, is the IRS even legal? Could we get rid of that too? Because that's really just a scam to siphon money. You know what? It doesn't stop, Blake. But I think we can reset it. Do you have any hope? Are you feeling good these days?
Now that all these things are coming out and Obama's approval rating is plunging and people are starting to have a big national conversation on this, and as we're seeing, who's looking legitimate, who doesn't. You're watching, it's not a left-right thing anymore. People that are, going out in favor or, going against Snowden or, in the national security grid. And yeah, you're starting to see the divide right now. So you're seeing, the media is absolutely, their credibility is gone. You're seeing the rise of the new alternative media sources. So I'm seeing a lot of positive developments. So that's always good.
Absolutely. Well, hey, by the way, any parting shots? I know you got to run. Superman brought a drone down in the latest Superman movie. Do you think Ben Affleck is going to do something similar in his role as Batman? Do you think he's going to do something to defend civil liberties and the Fourth Amendment specifically?
I have no on that. I know that's been a big story on Twitter. I haven't really gotten much into that one, so I can't say for sure. I would like to see the new Superman movie. I have not as of yet. And that's all I've got on that mind. So.
All right. Hey, answer me with a Twitter hashtag. I'm gonna blast 3 things at you and as you run out the door. In a Twitter reply, thoughts on Princess Di possibly being murdered with that report that came out.
Oh, absolutely. I thought that a long time ago. It definitely, the whole story stinks. There's obviously a big cover-up going on, and it's surprised. Well, I'm not really surprised it's taken this long, but yeah, hopefully the truth will come out. They didn't want her around anymore.
And thoughts that the CIA has recently said in the past week that they were in fact involved with the overthrow of Iran in 1953, and that yes, there is indeed Area 51.
What's funny is they released an LA Times article this week saying they're going to shut down the part of the CIA that declassifies these old things because of a sequester. So that's going to be the last of the declassified. I'm assuming that's probably because of the anniversary of the JFK assassination of 1963 coming up soon. So maybe they don't want to declassify anything else, and they can just blame the sequester and blame the Republicans, I suppose.
Beautiful. Well, hey, Blake, real quick, tell people where they can stay in touch with you, and we'll let you get out of here.
Best place would be Eccentric99 on Twitter. You can also, check out my website, eccentricperspective.com. If you've never been there before, it's worth checking out. Also, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, freedomizerradio.com, and you can also find a podcast. It's called The Eccentric Perspective by searching iTunes.
Very good. Well, Blake, hey, thanks for joining us today, and we'll do this again. I always appreciate the time, brother.
As always.
All right. There goes Blake, the eccentric Walley. Always a good time when he's on the program. Yeah, it's strange days. Strange days indeed. But, the beautiful part, just imagine. Have you seen that commercial where it was, I think it's a cell phone commercial or something, Paul Revere. And he's got to go warn everybody. The British are coming. The British are coming. The Redcoats are coming. But it's like kind of set in today, and he has like a cell phone, and he just texts everybody. He's like, all right, done. So as rough as things are, and recognizing that all of, seems like the power players in corporations that have infiltrated government are conspiring against the people, just realize we are all connected right now. We have a chance to dig for truth. And I'm sorry. I am sorry. There is no other way to say it, but if you are willing to enslave, murder, repress the truth, disenfranchise people, constantly keep us fighting each other and watching the blood spill in the streets so that you can just keep your money and keep living a nice, comfortable lifestyle, sorry, man, you're a monster. And it's 2013. And while we have the internet, this is the best tool that we have. This is the best weapon that those who appreciate civil liberties, freedoms, being left alone, being able to pursue our dreams, making sure that you're not shaken down by police on the streets or gangs on the streets. Because when you have corrupt governments, look around Northern Africa, look around South America, look around, look at the Nazis. Look at Stalin. Look at the Russians. Look what corrupt governments turn into. You don't want to run into a gang in the wrong part of the neighborhood? Good luck running into a corrupt government. Or on the southern border where there's tens of thousands of bodies being piled up in a stupid drug war. Yeah, we can go to 7-Eleven and buy booze. We can go to a grocery store and buy some vodka, but we can't buy a joint. Cool. It's certainly worth the effort. And the tens of thousands of dead bodies and blood spilling around. It's certainly worth the effort. Right. But the pharmaceutical industry can do everything it does. Because there's money there. Doesn't make a lick of sense. Guys and girls, we gotta do something better. We really have to do something better than what we've been doing the past few years. The definition of insanity, says Albert Einstein, is doing the same thing over and over, expecting different results. And I'm telling you that truth tellers are under attack right now, and I feel it, and Blake feels it, and you feel it. And that's why you got to tell your friends to join us here at the New American Media. Check out our homepage, thenewamericanmedia.com. If you like what we're doing, send us a message, contact us, find us. Don't stop until we respond back to you. We're a small team over here, and we're adding people. We're adding graphic designers. We're adding a sales and marketing department. We're adding content contributors, assistant editors. It's time to connect. Join us. Check out thenewamericanmedia.com. Go on Facebook and search The New American Media and like our page. Go on Twitter and follow us at American_media_ and subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's youtube.com/The New American Media. Special thanks to Blake Walley, as always, joining us here on Agree to Disagree. My name's Brian Engelman, and I appreciate each and every one of you. Stay strong. Keep some hope. Keep some faith. Do some good. That stuff comes back to you. Call it karma, call it the golden rule, whatever. Try to do something good and see if something good happens back. Either way, do it because it's the right thing. We'll talk with you again soon.
Welcome back, netizens, to this newest edition in Juice Media series of rap news journalism with me, Robert Foster. This evening we're actively delving in depth to facts which affect all of us who dwell on this internet, and we've got to give a special welcome to all the ladies and agents from the NSA, ACO, MI5. Glad you're listening in, because today's show is all about surveillance and how it's spreading from the streets into our modems. As we speak, laws are being tacitly written in to implement ways of controlling the expanse of this internet, to keep us safe, we're told. But from whom? And will this place ever be the same if these plans go through? To find out, we connect with our first guest to comment on the matter. We're live at the Panopticon with General Baxter. General, son, good to have you back again with us. Explain why the state is spying on us.
My fellow Oceanians, as you know, we've always been at war with Eurasia. Or is it East Asia? Either way, it's war and we need division to wage it. But now the proles are connecting online, bypassing these illusory divisions of race, religion, and nationality.
Sounds grand to me.
It's a catastrophe. Centuries of hard work are being undone, profits are vanishing, and it's due to the internet. It's empowering humanity. We need to get this snafu under control rapidly.
How?
Behold the latest weapon in the war of terror. Our greatest invention since 9/11. Guaranteed to keep us free and safe forever. I give you the surveillance state, ladies and generals. Our secret wires log your key style. Monitor every single number on your speed dial. Rewind straight to your position with facial recognition and pinpoint you within 0.03 of a mile. We've put eyes everywhere without consulting you, keeping you safe whether or not you want us to. Soon there'll be no freedoms left for threatening. Then we'll have won the war. Take that, terrorism.
Brilliant. Thank you, General. We now interview our resident guru, Terrence Moonseed, for a different view.
Greetings.
How does this situation look?
I have one word for you, Robert. Double plus on good. The world populace of 7.4 billion are all headed in the direction of Orwellian totalitarian oblivion. My voice is hoarse, yelling about stellar winds, cold chilling them and trap wire weaving through the world wide web we all dwelling in. Face it, the all-seeing eyes in all of our Facebooks like a virus, and in these iPhones with Siri, or should I say Iris. Next in line is RFID devices and mind chips triggered by chemtrails the plague spray the sky with. This time it's too far. Check out the base they're building in Utah, where they'll be storing all your data for over a century. It's FUBAR. And under the outback is an entire tunnel of wires, an echelon base called Pine Gap to hijack our mother Gaia.
Hey, maybe your mother's gayer.
Boo-hoo. Why didn't you just kill yourself like most of your troops do?
That's it. Now you're on the cast iron list.
Hang on, General. Why weren't we informed about this?
Sorry we didn't tell you about our grand plan before. It was meant to be a surprise, under wraps and in store. But some spoil sports had to go and ruin it for all by blowing whistles in spite of the damn law.
Bill, Benny, and Thomas Drake are trailblazers for leaking these tactics.
Hey, civil liberty activists, this is all legal. Anything we do now actually is.
How did...
You can't question my authority thanks to this.
And that shit's global, people. In Australia, it's now legal for the government to store all SMSs, searches, and emails. Australians, it's taking place under your nose. Unless you wake up, all your data are belong to ACO.
Come on, everyone knows. You can trust the government now. If you got nothing to hide, you got nothing to worry about.
That might be the case with things that are happening now, because most people agree with most of the laws that are being handed down. But once the Illuminati reveal their agenda for you, this surveillance will enforce laws you no longer consent to. But by then it'll be too late to protest too. And anything you've ever said, typed, or browsed can or will be used against you.
I'm I'm confused. So what should we do then?
What should we do? Nothing. This is all an illusion. It's just a ride, a delusion, the Matrix, the Maya deceiving us.
Oh, you hippies really make our job so much easier.
Sorry to interrupt, but we're picking up a signal from beyond the space-time continuum. Quick, switch on the juice channeling portal. Wait, is that George Orwell?
Good day to you.
Wow, what do we owe this honor to?
I tried to warn you noobs, but I see you are actually fools, or else you thought this was an instruction manual.
Yes, so can you advise us? What would you have us do?
An open and universal internet is the most effective tool you have to address the issues that afflict the world at hand. Therefore, protecting it is the most essential task that stands before your generation.
I think I understand.
Hush, man! You must not lose the internet. Heed this mantra. Who controls the internet controls the data. And who controls the data controls the future.
We're losing you.
I leave you with a tool to use. An onion? Don't be simple, Robert. This is but a simile. It stands for Tor.
Tor?
Google it. It's for anonymity. This onion router open network helps considerably against tyranny, but its abilities only work if all you use it consistently. And even if you don't use it, run it so its force swells.
Thanks, Mr. Orwell.
From now on, call me George Torwell. If we'd had such tools when I wrote this, well, it would have been so much simpler to tell Big Brother to go himself. The mother sucking piece of
Thanks, George Torwell, for manifesting direct from this memory hole of history to impress on us these messages. We're told we need safety, which is precious, yes, but can a society that can enforce all its laws ever progress? Hindsight shows that many figures guilty of thought crime turned out to be luminaries and heroes before their time. But if a surveillance state had reigned then in this form and design, just think of all the progress we may have all been denied. Could lobbies for women's or gay rights have appeared and thrived? Would revolutionary ideals have materialized? Would science have pioneered or even survived if every word had been monitored by thought police and spies? Big Brother brings chilling effects, freezing our collective hopes. He doesn't protect our safety, but protects the status quo and threatens this internet, the one channel yet uncontrolled, whose openness we are now called upon to effect and uphold.
If you're tired of the other stuff, take a look at thenewamericanmedia.com.